Our first question, write the number 10,069 in words. It's very simple. This is how we write this in words. You just write it in words. 10,069. Then you'll be done. Our second question, write 10,069 correct to the nearest 10. Correct to the nearest 10. This is very simple again. Remember, when you're rounding off correct to the nearest 10, you look at units. So the units are going to guide you. And in this case, these are units. And remember, if your units are from 5 up to 9, you round up. Meaning to say, you're going to say plus 1 to this 6. And our answer, this is a B. And our answer will eventually become 10,070. This is the answer, correct to the nearest 10. Then C, convert 10,069 centimeters into meters. That is C. Convert 10,069 centimeters to meters. In this case, you have to know the ratio first. You have to know how many centimeters are there in a meter. Remember, 1 meter is equivalent to 100 centimeters, like this. So we are asked to convert centimeters to meters. How do we do that? You just do this is 10,069 centimeters. How many meters? As we do when we are simplifying proportion, this will give you less or more, it will give you more. So if it's giving you more, remember you will use an improper fraction if it's giving you more. But if it's giving you less, you use a proper fraction. Meaning to say you are just going to divide this 10,069 divided by 100 times 1. So it's just, remember, a number times 1, it remains as it is. So 10,069 divided by 100. That will be our answer, which will eventually become 100,69. Remember, when you are dividing by 100, you just leave two numbers after the comma. So 10,069 centimeters to meters, it will be 100,69 meters. That will be answer. Now let's move on to the next question, which is number 2. A bag of sweets costs 34 cents. Aaron buys 10 bags of sweets. Work out how much change he receives from $5. Okay, this is something to do with money, and I know that you love money, so you won't make any mistakes on this one. A bag of sweets costs 34 cents. And we are told that Aaron buys 10 bags. So if Aaron buys 10, it means we are going to say 34 cents times 10. Those are the dollars that we are going to get. So 34 cents times 10, you have $3.40. $3.40. Remember, money, you must make sure that you write 2 digits here for cents after the comma. $3.40. Work out how much change he receives from $5. So you're just going to say 5 minus $3, $5 minus $3.40. What do you get? That will be our answer. Remember, when you are working with money, you cannot say 0 minus 4 or 0 cents minus 40 cents. So we are going to borrow $1 from these $5. So we remain with what? With $4. And that dollar gives us 100 cents. Now you say 100 minus 40 and you have 60 cents. And $4 minus $3, that's $60. Or you can calculate it mentally. I know that you and money, you are good friends. Love each other. So that's how we calculate it. the change he receives from $5 is $60. Number 3. Two numbers have a sum of -2 and a product of -15. Work out two numbers. This question is very, very simple, but it requires you to calculate the factors of the numbers or the answer that you are given. Two numbers have the sum of -2 and the product of -15. Meaning to say, let us call our numbers probably x and y. It means x plus y is giving us what? -2. But x times y is giving us what? -15. That is the actual meaning of this. You can solve it simultaneously or you can solve it mentally. It's up to you. Let us solve it mentally. Two numbers have sum, remember sum it means you're adding, sum of -2 and a product of -15. So in that case, let us just try to find out factors of -15. Factors of -15. We have 1 and 15. You place a negative wherever you want. Minus 1 times -15, they will give you -15. But this cannot give you -2. So let us try to deal with other factors. The other factors that we can have 3 and 5. If you look at it, 3 and 5, yes, they can give me -2. How can I get -2 from 3 and 5? I should have -5 and +3. -5 plus 3, they will give you -2. But if you multiply, if you add this, they will give you -2. If you multiply them, they will give you -15. It means this is the answer. This is the answer. The other number is +3 and the other number is -5. Or if you want to, you can solve this simultaneously. You still have the same answers. Next question. From list of numbers, write down even number. Remember, the numbers that we are given is 7, 27, 39, 49, 99, 1, 1, 2. These are numbers that we are given, and then we have to find an even number. Remember, an even number is a number that is divisible by 2. So an even number that we have here is 112. This is the even number that we have. Even number here is 112. Then this other question, a square number. Remember, a square number is an answer that you get after a certain number multiplies itself. So a square number that we have here is 49, because we get 49 after saying 7 times 7. So our square number here, that's a B, is 49. Then a C, a factor of 56. C, a factor of 56. A factor of 56, it means a number that can enter into 56 without leaving a remainder. So you try to check. Obvious one of these, all those that are above 56 cannot be factors of 56. That is the way you start to throw this one out, this one out, this one out. Then 10 by 2, you exceed 56, so this out. You remain with these two. 27 by 2. 27 by 2, what do you get? You end up with, you can calculate it here, 27 by 2. This is 4 carry 1, that is 54. And as we want factors of 56, so it means this one out. And 7 into 56, yes, it is a factor. It can enter into 56 without leaving a remainder. Remember, 49, if you say 49 plus 7, you get 56. Meaning to say that 7 can enter into 56 how many times? 8 times. So 7, it is the factor of 56. Now a prime number. A prime number. A prime number. Remember, a prime number is a number that is only divisible by 1 and itself. It is a number which does have two factors, 1 and itself. But take note of this, 1 is not a prime number. Keep that in mind and stay focused. Right, so a prime number that we have here is 7. Because 7, it is the only number here that can only enter into self, and only 1 also can enter into 7. Nothing else. Number 5. Write down the reciprocal of 5. Write down the reciprocal of 5. Remember, this is how you do this. You just find a number that when you multiply to this number, you end up with a 1. Or, in simple terms, you are just exchanging the numerator and the denominator. Remember, 5 is the same as 5 over 1. So it means the reciprocal of this is 1 over 5. That is our answer. Our answer is 1 over 5. Because also, this is also the number. If you multiply this, you get what? A 1. So that's how you get it. Number 6. Put one pair of brackets into each calculation to make it correct. Okay, this is number 6a. 7 minus 5 times 4 plus 8 equals 16. This is a 8. Put one pair of brackets to make it correct. So this is how you do this. You first try. You do try and error. Try to put a bracket here. 7 minus 5, that's a 2. 2 times 4, that is 8. And 8 plus 8, that's 16. So the first trial is correct. So you're going to place your brackets here. If our first trial didn't give us a correct answer, we're going to try to place our brackets somewhere else again. Okay, let us look at the B part. 7 minus 5 times 4 plus 8 equals negative 21. Put one pair of brackets into each calculation to make it correct. We still do the same, but we shouldn't do this because we know that if we place our bracket here, we have a 16. Now we want negative 21, right? So what are we going to do? Try to place probably your bracket here. 5 times 4, that's 20. Now 7 minus 20 plus 8. Will it give us negative 21? No, it won't. So it means this bracket is not the one that we want. Then let's try to extend our bracket. Just place it here. Here. Remember, you first deal with what will be inside the bracket, right? We place the bracket here. 5 times 4, that's 20. 20 plus 8, that's 28. And 7 minus 28, that will be negative 21. Okay, let me show you why I said the first one doesn't work. The correct answer that we want here, we're going to place our bracket here. The other one, we tried minus 5 times 4 plus 8. If we do this, we have 7 minus 5 times 4, that's 20, right? Then 20 plus 8. 7 minus 20, 7 minus 20, that's negative 13. Negative 13 plus 8, that's negative 13 plus 8. You're just saying 13 minus 8. You end up with what? 8, 9, 10, it's a 5. Negative 5. That would be your answer. Even if you try to do this, even if you try to calculate it, 7 minus 20 plus 8. Even if you try to calculate it like this, minus 20 plus 8, it will give you negative 12. And 7 minus 12, that's a negative 5. Because when you have addition and subtraction, you can calculate it in any way you want. So you see, this one gives us negative what? 21. So you have to calculate it somewhere for you to make sure. I just wanted to show you this because I knew that you could have some questions. Now, let's move on to number 7. A ticket costs $18. Write down the expression in dollars for the cost of T tickets. It's very simple. Cost of T tickets, that will be 18. Is it 18 or 8? It's 18. 18T. Because you're just going to say 18 times T. A bag contains any red balls and 16 green balls. Write down an expression for the total number of balls in the bag. It's very simple. The bag, this was number 7A and now 7B. The bag or a bag contains any red balls, so it is any red balls and 16 red green balls plus n plus 16. That's an expression of the total number of balls in the bag. N plus 16, just add what is the balls that are inside the bag. Then number 8A, write 90% as a fraction in its simplest form. This is very simple, number 8A. 90% as a fraction. Remember, percentage means over 100. So you say 90 over 100. You are asked to write this in its simplest form. So you just divide by 10 by cancelling these zeros. So in the simplest form, that will be 9 over 10. That will be your answer. Now let's move on to the next question. B. Write 3 over 100 as a decimal. 3 over 100 is a decimal. This is number 8B. 3 over 100 is a decimal. 3 over 100. This is very simple. You just say 100 into 3. That's a 0, comma, then you write a 0 here. 100 into 30, that's a 0 again, you write another 0. 100 into 300, that's a 3. So your answer will be 0, comma, 0, 3. This is 3 over 100 as a decimal. 0, comma, 0, 3. Number 9A. These are the first 4 terms of a sequence. Write down the term-to-term rule for this sequence. Okay, the first 4 terms of a sequence, we have to analyze and see, okay, for me to get the next number, what is actually happening? That is number 9A. The first 4 terms are 33, 26, 19, and 12. So what is the term-to-term rule for this sequence? In other words, you're asked, what are you doing for you to get the other number? So what do? Say 26 minus 33. 26 minus 33, what do you get? You get a negative 7. So here, negative 7. 26, 19 minus 26, what do you get? You also get a negative what? 7. 12 minus 19, what do you get? Negative 7 again. So what is the rule that we are using for us to get the next term? Subtract negative 7. That is the rule that we are using. Subtract 7, right? Subtract 7. Don't say subtract negative 7. Because if you say subtract negative 7, it will become positive. Because it will be minus 7. So subtract 7. That is the rule that we are using. Now let's move on to the next question. Work out the next 2 terms in this sequence. The next 2 terms in this sequence. It's very simple. You just subtract 7. 12 minus 7, you have a 5. That is the second term. Then 5 minus 7. What's that, the rule that we are using? You get a negative 2. So this will be our answer. Now let's move on to the next one. These are the first 4 terms of another sequence. Find the nth term. I like this kind of a question. Because it opens your mind. That's number 9B. We are given another set of terms in a sequence: 19, 23, 27, and 31. Find nth term. We want to find the nth term. For us to find the nth term, we have to first detect the rule. What is actually happening? If you check 23 minus 19, you get a 4. 27 minus 23, that's a 4. 31 minus 27, that's a what? A 4. A 4 without a sign, it means it's a positive 4. It means in this sequence, for us to get the other number, what are we doing? We are adding 4. So what do we do in that case? Since we are adding 4, we have to subtract that 4 from this 19. If you say 4 minus 19, what you get? You get a 15. So it means our nth term will be equal to 4n plus 15. When you are adding, you have to subtract. 19 minus 4, that's a 15. Because the first term, remember the first term is the T1. So T1, you say 4 times 1, that's a 4, plus 15, you get a 19. And T2, which is the second term, you say 4 times 2, which will be 8, plus 15. That's how you denote the nth term of a sequence. Now let's move on to the next question. K cycles from his office to the meeting and back again. The travel graph shows his time at the meeting and his journey back. How far is the meeting from his office? If you look closely at this diagram, we are asked how far. How far, it will be asking you distance. So just to check the maximum distance that we have there. Because the office is starting at 0, so the maximum distance that we have is 14. If you look at where there is that bold line, so it means it's 14 kilometers. Then the second question, how long is K at the meeting for? If you want to know how long is K at the meeting for, you have to count these small boxes, the time that he is here, he or a she, it should be him. The time that he was at the office, you count those small boxes. Let me enlarge them for you to see. So those small boxes, if you count them, they are 1, 2, 3, 4. So that 4, and then you check, because you asked how long. How long is asking you time. It's either time in minutes or in hours. So since there are 4, those small boxes, then we have to count. From 9 up to 10, how many boxes do we have? I'm going to enlarge again. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Since we have 6 boxes from 9 to 10, that is a 1 hour. And 1 hour is 60 minutes. So what we are going to do is we say 60 divided by 6. For us to know that one small box is representing how many minutes. So 60 divided by 6, we get a 10. So since he was at the office, he said at the office, those 4 small boxes, we are going to say 4 times 10, which will be 40. So it means our answer is 40 minutes. So K was at the meeting for 40 minutes. Then C, write down the time K arrives back at his office after the meeting. The time he arrives back at his office after the meeting. So you also have to look at the time that he arrives, which is down. It's just 1 small box before 12 o'clock. And remember, 1 box represents 10 minutes. So we're going to say 12 minutes, actually 12 o'clock, we subtract 10 minutes. 1 small box represents 10 minutes. We subtract 10 minutes, it means the time that he arrives back is 11:50. 11:50, which is 10 minutes to 12. Then, the last question on this one, K cycles from his office to the meeting at a constant speed of 21 kilometers per hour. Complete the travel graph. For us to complete the travel graph, we will have to calculate. Now what we have is we have 21 kilometers per hour, and we also have the distance. The distance is 14 kilometers. So we have to calculate time first. The time that he travels, for us to know the time that he started walking. If it's 9 o'clock exactly, or some time past 9. So that will be able to complete the graph. So let us calculate it. Remember, there is this triangle you should be familiar with, which is DST. This means distance is equal to speed times time, or speed is equal to distance over time, or time is equal to distance over speed. So let us just use this one, linear one. We are told that 21 kilometers per hour, which is speed, and we are also given distance we have, which is 14. We now want to calculate time. And for us to calculate time, it's very simple. We just divide by 21, both sides, for us to remain with time. This cancels that. So here, 7 here, that's 2 times, 7 here, that's 3 times. So it means our time is equal to 2 over 3 hours. Since these are hours, we have to convert them or to change them to minutes. And how do we do that? We multiply by 60. So if you multiply by 60 for us to get minutes, now times 60 here, 3 here once, 3 here twice. So 20 times 2, that's 40 minutes. It means the time that he cycles is 40 minutes. So how do we complete the graph now? We have to look at the graph. It means he took 40 minutes. So you look at your graph at the time that he arrives. You go down this line. When you go down with that line, since one box represents 10 minutes, so it means we have to count 4 boxes back. That is the time he started going to the, or he started cycling to the office. So if you count 4 small boxes back, one small box that's 10 past 10, another small box that's 10 o'clock, another small box that's 10 to 10, and another small box that's 20 minutes to 10 o'clock. So you are going to join from 20 minutes to 10 o'clock up to the time you just draw a straight line up to the time he arrived at the office, like I'm showing you on the screen. Okay, let's move on to number 11. Number 11. Calculate volume of a cube with side 3 centimeters. Remember, volume of a cube with 3 centimeters. What you just do for you to get the volume, you just cube what you have, right? You just cube it. And then you end up with 3 times 3, that's 9 times 3, that's 27. So 27 cubic centimeters. That will be our answer. Solve the equation. This is number 12 now. We want to solve the equation 5x plus 8 equals 3x minus 2. This is very simple and straightforward. It's very simple and straightforward. You just have to collect like terms, then you simplify. So 5x minus 3x. Remember, as you be collecting like terms, you must change the signs. Then here, 5x minus 5x, that's 2x equals negative 10. You divide both sides by the coefficient, which is 2. This cancels out that. So x is equal to negative 5. This will be our answer. Now let's move on to the next question, which is number 13. Number 13. Number 13a, work out negative 5 by negative 4. This is very simple. 13a, that's a 20. Because remember, negative by negative, positive. 5 times 4, that's a 20. Then negative 8, that's a b, negative 8 plus negative 3. Here you first simplify these two signs, they will give you a negative. So in this case, you end up with negative 11 minus 8 minus 3, that's negative 11. Then let's move on to number 14. Number 14. 3 to the power p times 3 to the power 4 equals to 3 to the power 10. Find the value of p. This is very simple and straightforward. For us to find the value of p, we must first apply laws of indices or laws of exponents. This is the same as 3 to the power p plus 4. Remember, when you're multiplying and you have the same basis, you get the powers. Is equal to 3 to the power 10. When you have the same basis, you cancel the basis, then you deal with the powers. So p plus 4 equivalent to 10. P is equals to 10 minus 4. So P is equals to 6. This will be the answer. The final answer. P is equals to 6. That's our answer. Okay, let's move on to the next question. The next question. Complete a net of this cubed on the 1 square centimeter grid. One face has been drawn for you. For us to complete this, it's very simple again, because what we have to check, you have to count the face that has been drawn. What exactly is it? So if you count the top side or the top line, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The other side is 1, 2, 3, 4. Since it's like this, it means the side that has been drawn for us, it is the back side, because it is the one that is having a 6 and a 4. So what we have to do now is we can draw the side that is having 4. It's having 4 and a 3. So the 4 we have it already. 1, 2, 3. Then you draw it this side. You draw also the other side, since they will be the same. Then we are now going down the bottom part. The bottom part, it does have 6 and a 3. So you just count 1, 2, 3. Then you draw the 3. After drawing the one that is having 3, we now have a side that is exactly similar to the one that we have been given already, which is 6 and a 4. Since we already have this 6, we are going to count 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you draw. Then we remain with the last one, which is 6 and a 3. Since we already have a 6, you are just going to count 3. 1, 2, 3. Then you draw it like this. This will be your final diagram. Now let's move on to number 16. Number 16. Simplify 6a plus 4b minus a minus 5b. It's very simple to simplify, because you just simplify. You collect like terms. So this will be 6a minus a plus 4b minus 5b. Remember, as you be collecting like terms, you must collect them with their signs. 6a minus 5a, actually minus a, that's a 5a. I was already telling you the answer. 4b minus 5b, that's a negative b. To say negative 1b and negative b is one and the same thing. So it's up to you, either waste the ink or write it as negative b. Now the b part of number 16, this was a. The b part of number 16, factorize 6x plus 15y. Remember, to factorize, to take out common factors, which will be highest common factors. So what is the highest common factor here? Obviously, that's a 3. You take out 3, you remain with 2x plus 5y. If you do have time to waste, you can prove this by expanding. But don't write it. You can just do that mentally. This times that, 6x, this times that, 15x. It always goes back to that. Remember, there is no mathematical question that can be proved. Then factorize completely again. This one is too much. X squared y minus 5xy. You must always factorize completely unless told otherwise. Now, what are we going to take out? What are the highest common factors here? That's xy. So we take out xy, we remain with x here, minus. Here, if you remove xy, we remain with what? With 5, like this. This will be our final answer. Xy out, then x plus 5 inside the bracket. I don't know why they gave you so many marks. 2 marks for something simple like this. Remember, maths is extremely simple. Simple more than the word simple itself. Now, number 17. By writing each number in the calculation correct to one significant figure, find an estimate for the value of 42,8 plus 17,4 over 1,97 times 5,79. So what is important here is you must round correct to one significant figure first. So this one correct to one significant figure, it becomes, you just look at this, this will be a 40 plus. And this one, you look at this 7, this would be a 20. Remember, you use the concept of rounding off numbers from 0 to 4. This one was going, if this was from 0 to 4, it was going to be 10. But from 5 up to 9, you say plus 1, then it will be 20. Then we divide here, this one, it becomes 2 times. And this one, this is 7, this becomes what? 6. 40 plus 20, that's a 60 over 2 times 6, that's 12. 2 times 6, it should be 12. Then what you're going to do now is you are going to divide 60 by 12. 60 divided by 12, because you're going to simplify. If you divide 60 by 12, you are going to eventually end up with something that looks like 5. But let's reduce it. Let's reduce it for you to see, since it's a paper that you don't use a calculator. We can reduce probably by 6. This is a 10, right? Here by 6, that's a 2. And then 10 divided by 2, that's what? 5. As I told you. I just did these long calculations because some of you, I know that you don't know this by yet you need to calculate this. Now, let's move on to the number 18. Number 18, the diagram shows 2 straight lines intersecting 2 parallel lines. Find the value of x. Give a geometric reason for your answer. So this is very simple. The value of x here is 50. What is the geometrical reason? These are alternate angles. So x is equals to 50 degrees. Reason? Alternate angles are equal. These are alternate angles. Then, another question. Find the value of y. Give geometrical reason for your answer again. Y, where is our y? This is our y. So we are forming an F here. So y is equivalent to 110 degrees. Reason? Corresponding angles. Corresponding angles, it means F angles. Corresponding angles. Remember, corresponding angles are equivalent. That's the reason. Find the value of z. Now we asked you to find the value of z. Now find the value of z. The value of z is very simple to find, since this is 110 and this is 50. If we manage to find this angle, it means we now have a z. Because remember, this angle and the z, they are what we call vertical opposite angles. Or we can just find this part and then we say 50 plus this. The answer we get, we say 180 minus that answer. That's a z. So here, for us to get this 180 minus 110, that's 70. So this part is 70. So z is equals to 180 minus 180 degrees minus 70 plus 50. Why? Because a triangle, sum of angles inside a triangle, they give us 180. So this is equal to 180 minus 70 plus 50, that's 120. 180 minus 120, that's 60 degrees. So it means our z is 60 degrees. Yeah. A box contains 10 counters. The counters are either red or green. The ratio red counters as to green is 1:4. Sharing picks a counter at random, notes its color and puts it back in the box. She then picks a second counter at random. Complete the tree diagram. Complete the tree diagram. Okay, it's very simple. Since we are told that we have 10 counters and we are given the ratio, remember, this means 1 part out of 5 you add. So 1 over 5 times 10, since we have 10. I don't want us to complete this tree diagram using the ratio. I want us to complete it using the actual number of what we have. What is it that we're talking about? Both contains 10 counters. Yes, the actual number of counters, not the ratio of counters. So 1 over 5 times 10, this will give us a 2. It means this one represents 2. So this 8 represents what? Represents, actually this 4 represents 8. You understand? So it means the red, the probability of red, that's 2 over 10. Yes, if you reduce it, you end up with 1 over 5. And that is what you have if you want to complete it using the ratio. So 2 over 10, here it will be 2 over 10. Here that's 8 over 10, 8 over 10. Here red, that's 2 over 10. And here that's green, 8 over 10. This is our answer. But if you use ratio to complete this, you have 1 over 5, 1 over 5, 4 over 5, 1 over 5, 4 over 5, 4 over 5. I want us to use the actual number of the counters. Now the second question from this is find the probability that both counters are green. Both counters are green, you just come here to the GG. GG. Both counters are green. So it's 8 over 10 times 8 over 10. In this case, you can simplify it for you not to have challenges. And this becomes 4 over 5 times 4 over 5. So our final answer would be 16 over 25. Because 4 times 4, that's 16. 5 times 5, that's 25. This would be our answer. So the probability that both counters are green is 16 over 25. Let's move on to the next question. The scatter diagram shows the price of petrol per liter and the number of liters sold at petrol station on each of 10 days. These are the results for 2 more days. So the results for 2 more days, and we asked to plot this information on the scatter diagram. So price per liter, $68. So this is $60, this is $65. So 68 from 65. 65, 66, 67, 68. It's here, right? $68, and number of liters sold is 90. So number of liters sold is 90. 90 is somewhere here just below 100. That's why you have 90, because it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So just below 100. So we are going to rise with this 90. It's here. So it will be this part. Because this is 68, just 2 from $70, that's $68, because this is $65. Then $3, $47, $45, 46, 47, just move 2 here, $47, that's here. This part, it's 380, number of liters sold 380. So this one $47, that's here. So we want 380. 380 is just 2 from 400. 380 is here. So it's this part. Okay, the first question we are done. What type of coloration is shown in the scatter diagram? As you can see, it's going down. So when it's going down, that will be a negative. It will be a negative because it's decreasing. So it will be negative coloration. Then on the scatter diagram, draw line of best fit. Line of best fit. So my line of best fit, unfortunately my ruler is not transparent, but let's count how many these are. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So my line of best fit, how many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, my line of best fit will look like this. Yeah, because I have to balance half this side and half the other side. Then the other question: use your line of best fit to estimate the number of liters sold. Okay, one day the price of petrol was $55 per liter. Use your line of best fit to find number of liters sold. So you go to $55, which is this one, and then you see where it intersects with the line of best fit. This one, it's intersecting here. It's intersecting here. So I have to check number of liters intersecting. So number of liters. I have to count now. Here it's at the center. My line is not straight, so I have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, and here it is at the center. So it's 255 liters. That's 255 liters. 255 liters. Now let's move on to the next question. Points A, B, and C lie on the circle, center O. Work out angle BCA. Angle BCA is this angle BCA. CA is this angle. That's the angle that we want to work out. It's very simple for us to work out this angle because remember, this is the same circle because we are told that center O. And semicircle gives us 90 degrees here. So BCA is equals to 180. Since sum of angles inside the triangle gives us 180, so we're going to say 180 minus this and that for us to get this. 180 minus 39 plus 90. Or if you want to do shortcut, you could say 90 minus 39. But let's do this one for you to completely understand. So 180 minus 90 plus 39, you just do this 90 plus 39, you have 9 here, and here you have 12, 129. So 180 minus 129, which will be equal to, you can calculate it aside again, this 180 minus 129, like this. This is a paper, you are not allowed to use a calculator, remember, in this paper. So 10. Here you have a 1, this is a 3, 8 minus 3, that's a 5. So it means our answer will be 51 degrees. 51 degrees. That is angle BCA. Now let's move on to the next question. A equals 2 to the power 3 times 3. B equals 3 to the power 2 times 5. Find the highest common factor, HCF. Since A is equals to 2 to the power 3 times 3, and B is equals to 3 to the power 2 times 5. Highest common factor is very simple. Remember, you just write the common factor. In this case, that's a 3. And you take the smallest power, 3, the smallest power is 1. So it means the highest common factor is 3 in this case. Now let's move on to the next question. Find the lowest common multiple of A and B. It's very simple. The lowest common multiple now, you write all the factors that we have. We have 2 times, we have 3 times 5. Then you are going to take the highest powers. In this case, highest power of 2, that's 3. Highest power of 3, that's 2. Highest power of 5 is just 1. So 2 to the power 3, that's 8 times. 3 to the power 2, that's 9 times 5. Like this. And since it's a paper, you don't use a calculator, try to be wise. Just say 8 times 5 first, you get a 40. And then your 40, you say times what? 9. So you just do it aside. 40 times 9, 0 here. 9 times 4, that's a 36. So you know that your answer is 360. That will be your answer. Or you can do 8 times 9 times 5. But to say 8 times 5, you get a 40, and then you say times 9, it's a faster method. That's a 360, that's our answer. Now let's move on to the next question, number 23. On the grid, draw the image of triangle T after a rotation 90 degrees clockwise, center origin, which is OO. So when we are transforming 90 degrees clockwise, it's very simple. What you should just know is that your coordinates originally, that will be x semicolon y. You just switch. This will be your image. If you are transforming 90 degrees rotation clockwise, as we are asked to do. T after rotation 90 degrees clockwise, center origin instead of origin. You just switch. So your x becomes y and your y becomes x. But you have to change the sign of the x. If it was negative, it becomes positive. If it was positive, it becomes negative. Let me show you what I'm saying. So what you have to do here is you must know the coordinates of your original shape. So what are the coordinates? Here I have 1 semicolon 1, 1 semicolon 1. When my image is going to eventually become 1 semicolon negative 1. Then here I have 4 semicolon 1, 4 semicolon 1. My image will eventually become 1 semicolon negative 4. Then I have 1 semicolon 3, 1 semicolon 3. My image will become 3 semicolon negative 1. If you are rotating 90 degrees clockwise, that is what you do. You see, you just switch. This goes there, and then you change the sign. Also here, then you change the sign. Also here, then you change the sign. But here you might not see that we have switched because these one and one, they are twins. In fact, they are identical twins. Now, let's rotate now. The image 1 semicolon negative 1, 1 semicolon negative 1, this part. Then 1 semicolon negative 4, 1 semicolon negative 4 is this part. Yeah. And 3 semicolon negative 1, 3 semicolon negative 1 is this part. And then you take your ruler. Take your ruler and you join. It's very simple. You join. Oh. Right. This is the rotation 90 degrees clockwise, and our center is the origin, which is 0, 0. Describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle T into triangle A. The single transformation that maps triangle T into triangle. This one is very simple. How many marks are we given in? 2 marks. So the first thing is this transformation. By just looking at it, it's a translation. Now we have to know the translation vector, right? So the first thing is what? Translation. With translation vector, now we have to check. You look at corresponding points. Let us look at probably this point and that point. You look at this one here. This one here. So you have to count how many times I moved. We want to start with x. I'm moving back. It means my x is going to have a what? A negative. So you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it means it's negative 6. That's my translation vector. Then let us look at why negative 6 was here, right? So y is also negative because I'm going down. Remember x, when you're going front for translation, that's positive. Up, that's positive for y. Front, that's positive for x. Up, that's positive for y. But back, that's negative for x. Down, that's negative for x. Actually, down, that's negative for y, not x. Back, negative for x. Down, negative for y. Just look at this. Back, negative for x. Down, negative for y. Remember, this is the y-axis, this is x-axis. Front, positive for x. Back, negative for x. Up, negative for y. Down, negative for y. We must keep that in mind. So, since I'm going down, that's a negative for my y. So, I have to count how many. I was here, right? So, you count 1, 2, 3, 4. And it will be negative 4, like this. This is another way of you finding your translation vector. Or the other way you could do, you can look at this point. This point, that's what? 1 semicolon 1. And this point, that's what? Negative 5 semicolon negative 3. Like this. If you look at these points, you try to compare them. You try to compare them. Since this is the original, this is the image, for you to get your vector, you can start with the x, y. Let's say 1, 1. It's 1 plus the translation vector, which is x, of which you don't know it, is giving us what? Negative 5. Then you simplify this equation to be x equals to minus 5 minus 1, which is x equals to minus 6. It means my x will be minus what? 6. Then you compare also the y. It means 1 plus my y, which is the translation vector y. I'm going to end up with negative 3. So y equals minus 3 minus 1. So y equals to negative 4. Then you have the negative 4. Use any method you want, either to count this and that, or to just compare the corresponding point. And then you have your translation vector. So it's a translation with translation vector negative 6 and negative 4. Now let's move on to the other question. Describe a fully single transformation that maps the triangle T onto triangle B. This one is very simple. By just looking at it, maps triangle T onto triangle B, you are going to see this is what? Enlargement. Because this shape is becoming what? Big. So the first thing is enlargement. So the other thing that is very crucial and important here is to know what is center of the enlargement and also the scale factor of the enlargement. Those are the things that you have to be familiar with. Center of the enlargement and the scale factor of the enlargement. Now let us, since we have 3 marks, the first thing to say is the enlargement, it's a mark, right? A scale factor is very simple for us to know the scale factor. What you just do is, you just look at your, this is the image, right? This is the image. Length here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So my length for the image is 4. Since it's becoming big, we have to divide, you understand? So divided by, the original shape is 1, 2 divided by 2. So 4 divided by 2, that's a 2. It means it's enlargement with the scale factor 2. Now let us look at the center of the enlargement. How do you get the center of the enlargement? Since I draw this on a board, it might not be that accurate. You have to join the corresponding point. You have to join this and that. And then you draw the line. What I wanted to use as a ruler is not that long. So let me just show you. If you join this one, and this one with a straight line. This one and this one, it will be like this. And then you also join this one corresponding with this one to be like this. You also join this one and that one to be like this. You are going to see that you just use a ruler, right? You are going to see that they will all pass through this negative 2, which is 0 semicolon negative 2. And that tells you that this is the center of the enlargement. So it's an enlargement with the scale factor 2 and center 0 semicolon negative 2. Now let's move on to the next question. Work out 1 1/3 plus 1 3/4. Give your answer as a mixed number in its simplest form. This is very simple. Remember, you first have to change this into improper fraction. So 3 times 1 plus 1, you have a 4 over 3 plus 4 times 1, 4 plus 3, 7, 7 over 4. And for you to simplify this easily, you find a lowest common denominator. In this case, that's a 12. The smallest number that 3 and 4 can end up with, that's 4. 3 into 12, 4 times 4, that's a 16 plus 4 into 12, 3 times 7, that's a 21. Now 16 plus 21, what do we get? We get a 37. Now 37 divided by 12. 12 can enter into 37 3 times because 12 times 3, that's a 36. So 3 times remainder 1 over 12, which is our denominator. We have simplified this. Now let's move on to number 25. Write 32,500 in standard form. So 32,500 in standard form, you just move your comma to this part, right? So it's 3,25. To say 2500, just 25 is 1 and the same thing times 10 to the power. You now count how many numbers are now after the comma that were not originally after the comma. 1, 2, 3, 4. So times 10 to the power 4. This will be our answer. Now let's move on to the next question. Write 5,6. 5,6 times 10 to the power negative 3 as ordinary number. This is very simple. Remember, negative is telling you that you have zeros. How many? 3 zeros. So you just write 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. And then write the numbers here. 5 and 6. And you place a comma just after the first zero. So 0,0056. That's this number 5,6 times 10 to the power negative 3 in ordinary form. It becomes this. Number 26, which is the last one. Solve the simultaneous equations. 2x plus 5y equals 5 and 3x plus 4y equals 11. This is very simple and straightforward. I want us to use substitution method. You can use, there are 5 ways to solve simultaneous equations, but you use any method you want. Let us use substitution method. Let us make x have a formula on the first equation. If you make x have a formula on the first equation, that's 2x plus 5y equals to 5. It becomes 2x equals to 5 minus 5y. When you divide both sides by 2, you end up with x is equals to 5 minus 5y over 2, because you are going to divide both sides by what? By 2. These 2 cancel out that 2. So you are going to substitute now this value. Remember, we made x as a formula on equation 1. We substitute it on the second equation. This is equation 1. This is equation 2. Substitute on equation 2. Where there is x, replace x with its value, which is 5 minus 5y over 2. So now 3, 5 minus 5y over 2 plus 4y equivalent to 11. Then you simplify here, this becomes 15 minus 15y over 2 plus 4y equivalent to 11. Like this, here over 1, here over 1. We use my method, which is equation times LD, equation times LCD, which is lowest common denominator, and in this case, that's a 3. So here, 2 into 2, that's 1 times this remain with 15 minus 15y plus this into this, that's 2 times 4y, 8y equals to 1 into 2, that's 2 times 11 equals to 22. And then you collect like terms so that you'll be able to simplify. So negative 15y plus 8y equals to 22 minus 15. Minus 15y plus 8y, you end up with negative 7y equals plus 15 minus 15 plus 8, that's negative 7. Now 22 minus 15, that's a 7. So you divide both sides by negative 7 and here by negative 7. So y is equals to negative 1. Since we now have the value of y, we are going to substitute that value of y. I am going to raise here. We are going to substitute that value of y, which is negative 1. Y equals negative 1. So we're going to substitute it in any of the equations. I'm going to substitute it on equation 1. So 2x plus 5 times negative 1 is equal to 5. So 2x is equal to minus, not equals 2x minus 5 equals 5, like this. Now 2x is equals to 5 plus 5. If this 5 goes the other side, it becomes positive. So it will be 2x is equals to 10. Then how do you get the answer? We divide both sides by the coefficient which is 2 in this case. And then we end up with x is equals to 5. Therefore, x is equals to 5 when y equals to -1. If you have time to waste, you can prove this. You switch. You take this 5 times 2, that's a 10. Minus 1 times 5, that's -5. 10 minus 5, that's a 5. It means these values are correct. You can try to test them also on the second equation. 3 times 5, that's 15. 4 times -1, that's -4. 15 minus 4, that's 11. If you prove using both equations, it means your answers are 100% correct. We are now done this paper. I hope that you completely benefited. So subscribe at Semple TV for you to continue benefiting from these revisions of past exam papers. Stay focused.